Welcome to English Podcasts. Relax and enjoy your listening practice.
I remember the first time I realized how silent the world truly was. Not because there was no sound, but because there was no understanding. The forests were alive, oceans moved with hidden conversations, and yet we stood apart, listening, without ever truly hearing. For centuries, we believed that this silence was natural, that the distance between us and the animal world could never be crossed. But doubt has a way of shaping belief into limits. I used to think that intelligence belonged only to us, that meaning required human language, that connection needed words we could control. And yet, every time I looked into the eyes of another living being, I felt something deeper. Something undeniable, waiting just beyond reach. And then everything began to change. Not with a miracle, not with a sudden revelation, but with a quiet, persistent question. What if we are not alone in our thoughts, only limited in our ability to understand them? Through the rise of artificial intelligence, patterns once invisible started to emerge. Signals in whale songs, rhythms in bird calls, subtle shifts in animal behavior. What once seemed random began to reveal structure, intention, even emotion. For the first time, we were not just observing nature, we were beginning to listen. And that is when the real transformation begins, not in the machines, but in us. Because the moment you accept that communication is possible, you can no longer hide behind ignorance. You can no longer pretend that other lives are simple or silent or less significant. You are forced to confront a truth that is both humbling and powerful. The world has always been speaking. The question is, are you ready to hear it? Because this is not just about technology, it is about courage. The courage to challenge what you were taught. The courage to step beyond the familiar and face a reality that demands more empathy, more awareness, more responsibility. We are standing at the edge of something extraordinary, a future where barriers dissolve, where connection expands beyond species, where understanding becomes a bridge instead of a wall. And in that moment, you realize the silence was never real. It was only waiting for someone brave enough to break it. So step forward, listen deeper, and become the voice that refuses to ignore what has always been there. Because the greatest discoveries are not just about the world around us, they're about the limits we choose to leave behind.